What's going on in this video? My client is going to be getting a mid to high skin fade. So as you can see, I'm starting off pretty high in the C cup, taking out most of the C cup, but I'm dropping towards the back, keeping this guideline rather low in the back, but high in the front. He doesn't necessarily like a dark C cup. And so as you can see here, I'm taking out most of that here, going up about a full inch. And what I'm going to do is give him a complete blend all the way around. This fade is going to go all the way around, and I'm going to take some off the top in order to tie it all together. And I'm just leaving the bottom here to keep some type of contrast as I go up. Number one, with the lever completely closed here as the next step, I'm going in just to be able to give myself a gradient look. I'm using the heel of the blade just so that I can maintain darkness, but also transition smoothly. I'm going in the top. At this fade, I'm going to use the number one guard with the lever completely closed. And that's the highest guard that I'm going to use, again, using the heel of the blade. As you can see, with light pressure, feeding the comb through the teeth of the clippers, just cutting off little by little. Slowly but surely, as you can see, it's just debulking the top. I'm not putting a hard line in. I'm not trying to create another transition. I'm just taking out the bulk. And now I'm dropping back down to the 0.5 in between that with the lever completely closed. And I'm just nudging at the line that I put in with the lever completely open, and in between that and the one guard. Throughout this fade, the whole time I'm keeping in mind the darkness at the top as well as in that first initial bald line. So I'm keeping an eye on the window that I have to fade, making sure that I stay within the realm of which I need to be able to debulk darkness, but also create a blend. Maintaining that darkness here, I'm using the corner of the blade, just manipulating the dark spots right in between that 1 and 1.5 with the lever open. Slowly but surely, just lighten it up little by little. And you want to be sure to comb the hair back to its natural position just so that you can get an idea of what's already cut, so that you're not overcutting, overworking the overall fade. As you can see, I'm playing with the lever open and closed with the 0.5 guard because obviously it's going to take off more. With the lever completely closed and more hair coming off means the possibility of running the risk of taking the fade up too high. So as you open up the lever, you're taking off less hair but still getting a smooth blend. One thing I never understood was to look at the hair from a different angle, look at the fade from a different angle just to see any inconsistencies that you may not see straight ahead on. You can look from an angle to see if there's any darknesses or any inconsistencies throughout the fade that may need to be detailed. And so if you can imagine just looking at the client from behind or immediately directly in front, just so that you can see the side profile as well as in the actual blend itself, you'll notice if you look at it in different angles, certain angles will allow certain darknesses to appear different. And so you don't just want to maintain a singular focus on one area in one position. You want to also step back or look at it from a different angle just so that you can see darknesses in different areas. That will take your fade to the next level. Here I'm going back down and I'm working at that first line that I put in, working from open to close here, halfway with the lever completely, halfway in between on the third notch, just nudging at the very bottom line. I know it's not going to take it out completely, but I also just want to slowly but surely work this line out. I don't want to take it out too quick and then run the risk of putting a harder line in. I'm using the edge of the blade or the corner of the blade, just manipulating the dark spots. You essentially just want to break the line that's in there. And so I'm going in, point cutting a little, just so that I can slowly but surely cut that line in half. The reason I'm able to go that high in the fade with no guard on is because light pressure as well as the angle of the blade, it allows me to manipulate smaller areas and take off less hair versus going in with the lever completely closed or the lever completely open and just lay the blade flat against the head. As you can see, that's the way that I put my guidelines in because I need to cover more ground when I put my guidelines in. I need to take enough space in order to completely create a consistent line all the way around. And so I would lay the blade flat to give myself consistency. However, when I angle the blade, it's not gonna take off as much. And so here I just wanna create an efficiency with the way that I'm setting in my actual guidelines. And before I come back and take them out, I wanna make sure that and solidify a clean level to exactly the length that I'm looking for. Here I'm going in with the lever completely closed with the 1.5 guard, and I'm detailing and debulking the top without putting another line. Again, using the heel of the blade, I'm just riding off the shape of his head. Very light pressure. If you're struggling with transitioning that fade into the actual hairstyle on top, it is very important to understand the pressure that you're using and how it affects the hair and the way the hair falls and lays. With each and every texture, it's gonna be different. But at the very least, if you know that you go in light, you know that you can put in a lighter or softer line, and it's easier to take it out versus going and digging and you set that hard line. It's not necessarily guessing, it's just allowing you to give yourself a safety net. As you can see, I'm going in here now with the lever completely open on a 0.5 guard or the half guard, and I'm just taking out whatever I couldn't get out with the 1, and I'm dropping in between the 1 and the 1.5, and now I'm just slowly but surely taking out that inconsistency. Keep in mind, if you don't have a system to work with, something that actually you can resort to, whatever the hair texture style or hair growth pattern is, you can resort to some system that works every single time, no matter what you do. Every time that you use this system, it allows you to execute at a high level and get the same exact results, if not at least similar. And if you don't work on the same system, you keep jumping around, you're not gonna ever crack the code or understand how exactly each system works. And you don't have to have a specific system that only works for one specific client. You want actually a system that is a stack of different techniques that you put together that allows you to be efficient with no matter what hair texture you use. That system is able to be the go-to system because you know how hair works and you understand that if you do it this way, no matter what you do, you're gonna at least be able to complete a cut from beginning to end. At first, it's gonna be difficult getting clients to trust you, but it's also difficult to learn a new way of cutting. And so you don't wanna just keep bouncing around to figure out what exactly you're doing. And so now you essentially are just guessing through each haircut. And that serves you no justice. Because at that point, you're stressing about cutting hair and also stressing about clientele, and neither one should cause you any extra added stress. A system will allow your client to feel comfortable in the chair as well as you feel confident standing behind the chair, giving your client the service that you know that you're able to provide. You're not intimidated by any type of hair texture that comes into the shop. You can execute at a high level no matter how bad or how overgrown or outgrown or even butchered haircuts you're able to execute at a high level and give a client a transforming look and feel every single time. This is the final cut, and if you learned anything, share this video with a friend, family member, or fellow barber. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell. My name is Kel, and I'll catch you in the next one.